Well, good morning, everyone. Wow. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being here today and to help BakerRipley celebrate an incredible family. My name is Margie Peña, and I am the community developer, and I support our advisory committee, and we have many of them here today. So if you are seated, can you please stand and be acknowledged? Testing, okay. As you may know, every community center has an advisory committee that is a backbone. They are the voice of our community. Before we begin, I'd like to inform you that the restrooms are just down this corridor towards the gym. Many of you have already asked. And we also, BakerRipley today has our community schools as well as our early voting. So for those of you that have not cast your vote, and I don't know what this is. Yes. Not working. Yes. For those of you that have not cast your vote, please take advantage. Today is the last day for early voting. So today we've gathered to honor a family with ties to BakerRipley that go back decades. We are here to unveil an incredible mural in the honor of the Fraga family, which wouldn't have been possible without the generous support of our friends from Valero. So I'd like to acknowledge today Lon Benner, Vice President and Town Manager, and Angel Fraga, Senior Planner. The Fragas are all over the place, I think. So I also want to acknowledge some of our following distinguished guests that are here with us today. And I may miss some of y'all because I was unable to capture many of you, but do we have the Honorable Alba Cuello de Barbosa, Consul General de Ecuador? And we were also expecting the Honorable Carol Alvarado, State Senator. Also the Honorable Cristina Morales, State Representative, back there. We also have the Honorable Armando Wally, State Representative. We also have, I'm turn this off. Yeah, everybody's always asking, right? We also have the Honorable, we have Precinct 6 Constable Sylvia Trevino. We also have the Honorable David Fraga, Municipal Court Judge, City. Have them all over the place. We also have Victor Trevino III, Justice of the Peace. I also saw Council Member Robert Gallegos, Mr. Guy, and Eva Laredo, our HCC trustee. We also have Frank Villagran Glover, President of the Southeast College, and also on the advisory committee. And if I missed any of you, I apologize. So many of the Fraga's connections to BakerRipley are through where we are today here at the Ripley House. For 20 years, Felix Fraga served as a director at Ripley House and touched thousands of lives. One of those lives is Dr. Roberta Leal, which is a current BakerRipley board member and who is a BakerRipley neighbor through and through. Please help me in welcoming Dr. Roberta Leal.
Thank you, Margie, so much for that warm introduction. We have a script, but if you know BakerRipley, we have talking points and we go off script. So please inform me when it's my turn to speak. I'm so excited to be here and absolutely honored to be invited to speak about Mr. Fraga, the Fraga family in general, and the impact that you have had on our community and lives such as my own. When I was talking with Margie about this, and I was reflecting back on all the stories I've heard as a child growing up in our local communities. I'm actually from Pasadena, and have worked in our community and in East End as well. And I think about all the stories I've heard about the impact. Do you know the Fragas? Have you met the Fragas? Do you know that you're on the same path as the Fraga family? And when I think about what that means to me and somebody like me, there are a few things that come to mind. The Fraga family, like so many of us, come from a unique background. And similarly, I also come from a family who immigrated from San Luis Potosí in Mexico. And, yes. And I think that when we think about our family and the unique position that BakerRipley, formerly Neighborhood Center, because I have to say that, has on our community, it really is about the journey that we take in life. It's about taking that first step and clearing a pathway for others to step with you. And in this case, with the Fraga family, it really is about creating a path for a community and a neighborhood and a large group of people to step forward with you. And that trickles on to other neighborhoods and other cities and other communities who are watching from afar. And I think it holds a special place in my heart, not only because my family too migrated from San Luis Potosí, but I'm also connected to working with Bo for over 10 years in the BakerRipley family in community development. If you know anybody in the Fraga family, specifically, I cannot say Felix, Mr. Felix and Miss Nelly and Bolivar and their family, you know that civic engagement is a big part of the message that is conveyed. My mother, who was undocumented, said, "Mija, go out and vote, go get an education, be part of the community." And at the same time, I never realized that there was more to civic engagement than just going to vote. There's being part of campaigns. Yes. And Bolivar was like, "Roberta," I'm trying to do my Bolivar impression. "Roberta, I need to ask you a question." I'm like, "Okay." And he goes, "Have you ever been block walking?" And I'm like, "No." And then he was like, "What are you doing Saturday?" And then I was sucked in. And so civic engagement is, I think, a message that has been passed on through the Fraga family from generation to generation. Not just get out and vote, but be part of the community, be part of that solution. Mr. Fraga was the first in his family to finish high school. And I want to translate that and interpret that, if I may, to the first in your family to try something different, to take a step to the right or to the left or in a different direction and see what comes next. And I think that is reflected through and through BakerRipley. We're an organization that's not afraid to go off track. We're a group of people, we are a community that's not afraid to try something new, to see what that next step brings with it. And so I'm really excited that you had a passion in sports and baseball. Go Cougs. I had to do that too. I'm also a graduate of the University of Houston and found myself in a similar pivotal moment where I was invited to audition and perform with the Moore School of Music for a professional career in music, and instead I chose social work. So if you have time to look at the timeline, you'll see there's pivotal moments over the last several decades where choices were made and steps were taken in a different direction. And look where we've landed. We've landed here. We've landed here today in this moment where we have an opportunity to really honor our community. While Mr. Fraga's life journey started over about 50 years before mine, the paths and the steps that have been trailblazed really do impact this generation and generations to come. We've all been benefiting from the journey that you've taken so boldly to move us forward. It's clear that he's a trailblazer, and one message that I think I would leave with the audience today is that when I reflect back on your impact on our community, my family, other families similar to ours, you have lived a servant's life. a servant's life, and you continue to give in generations. I think also the message is to stay rooted while you're taking that next step. Stay rooted in family, stay rooted in faith, stay rooted in comunidad. I have to share two small stories that I think I may or may not have time for. And now I'm way off script. I'm a faculty member at the University of Houston Clear Lake. I'm a faculty member, there we go, at the University of Houston Clear Lake. And I had a young man just graduate from my program last year. And he said, Dr. Leal, I have an odd question. I said, no question is odd. We've heard it all. Bring it. And he said, my mom wants me to take a picture with you and she wants to meet you. And I said, why? This is odd. I told her that my professor works and volunteers with BakerRipley and knows Bolivar Fraga and the Fraga family and has actually met Nelly and Felix. And she just wants to see what you look like. I was just tell her I look like me, una Latina. And so I took the photo and I went a step further and I invited him to an event we had in Pasadena last year and introduced him to Bo and lovingly asked Bo, do you mind asking your parents to take a picture with my student? And it brought his mother to tears because that is the impact that this family has had in our community. Another short story I'll share, a professional one as a social worker. And I think this speaks true to many generations who have come through the background of being an immigrant, being first, second, third generation. We lose some of the culture, we lose some of the language. We're holding so tight to where we come from, but we're also jumping leaps ahead to survive and be successful in our society. We had a meeting where our elder social workers in the community called together all the Latino social workers who were willing to step up. 75 showed up to this dinner meeting. And Mr. Fraga, you got up and spoke to the audience. And you basically, in a nutshell, told us it's your turn. Step up, show up, be engaged, be the next generation of leaders that our community is looking for and striving to connect to. He said it all in Spanish. And then at the very end, I think he was reading my mind because he said, if you didn't understand everything I said, then improve your Spanish. Mr. Fraga, your message rings so true to so many generations, and I'm honored to share some of those stories with you and the audience today. When we look at this timeline, it represents not just one family and one person's journey, but the opportunity of future journeys to come and to continue building on this legacy that they've left for us and paved the way for us. So today we're celebrating the Fraga family, a true Houston and East End legacy. The unveiling of this beautiful mural which tells the story of their rich family's history. Creating this mural took an incredible amount of time, effort, and love. And no one knows that better than David Contreras, who is the historian for LULAC, right? For the National League of United Latin American Citizens. And so we're going to ask him to come up now and share a few words.
Thank you so much. I have some prepared remarks, but before I start with that, I want to introduce a couple of members from Council 688, my wife, who is the president of our council, and Judith Castillo. And Ms. Castillo was the teacher who stood up for her students who were not allowed to wear sashes during graduation. So this project started out about 3 years ago when we located 10 photos of Felix Fraga on eBay from the 1960s to 1970s. And everyone was so excited, including the curator, Michael Silly, who's not here with us today because he has COVID. And so we talked with Commissioner Adrian Garcia, and he agreed to fund it. And we got to give special thanks to Mika for her incredible work. She is a preeminent historian, curator, artist for Latino collections. And she did an incredible job. She took 10 photos and added another 42 to create this incredible mural exhibit that we now have. Today we gather to celebrate a journey that started during a global crisis and resulted in honoring two remarkable individuals who have left a lasting impact in our community. In June 2020, amid the COVID-19 pandemic, we stumbled upon a valuable collection of historical photos from the 1960s and 1970s featuring the inspirational Felix Fraga. This unexpected discovery became a mission, inspiring us to recognize those who tirelessly serve our community. With the generous support of Commissioner Adrian Garcia, who sponsored the acquisition of the historic photos, we set out on a mission to connect the past with the present, linking our community to the important work of Felix and Nelly Fraga. Our journey led us to Claudia Aguirre, President and CEO of BakerRipley, a visionary leader who enthusiastically embraced our idea for a timeline exhibit dedicated to Felix and Nelly Fraga. Recognizing its importance, she welcomed our proposal. Michaela Stelli, a local, preeminent historian, curator, and archivist consultant of Latino collections, committed herself to bringing this project to life and preserving the history of Felix and Nelly Fraga for future generations. Today, as we stand before this incredible timeline exhibit, our hearts swell with pride and gratitude. It serves as a testament to unity, community, and commitment, highlighting individuals like Felix and Nelly Fraga who poured their hearts into creating a more connected community. President Millie Contreras and I, representing LULAC Council 688, humbly acknowledge the small role that we have played in this. Every contribution, no matter how small, when combined with the passion, the talent, and dedication of others, can produce something extraordinary. In conclusion, we extend our heartfelt thanks to Commissioner Adrian Garcia, Claudia Aguirre, Michaela Stelli, and all the members of LULAC Council 688. Together we have created a timeless testament to the legacy of Felix and Nelly Fraga, a source of inspiration and education for generations to come. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm going to try to use not use the use my command voice from being in the Air Force, but I'm Carlos Fraga. I don't know, many folks don't know me because I went in the Air Force and just kind of left Texas, but I'm glad to be back. Kind of like my Uncle Tom did, right? We know how it is, right? But I'm here because I'm going to speak on behalf of my family, just how thankful we are for this, for everybody being here, and for all the work that went into putting this mural together. It's just fantastic to see that. Everybody has to take a good look at it. It really is inspiring, and it's inspiring to me, even though I'm not a social worker. I am a social worker at work. I mean, I really do show God's love because it came from my dad and my mom. And I think that's all we can do. So even if we're not a professional, official social worker, we can do that wherever we live in our communities. And I think that's what the timeline there shows. We can all make a difference. And so thank you for coming from the bottom of my heart, my family's heart. We're super thankful. But before I want to thank the Fragas. Would you please stand up? They're once a year. I'm going to show you. So, you want to conclude this?
Oh, I think I'm...
You are, okay.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. Dr. Carlos Fraga. I had a conversation over here and told him, like, I just learned about you. Where have you been? And he had shared, you know, I had read a little bit about him, and I was like, well, when you get your law degree, I can get my law degree too. And this is kind of the legacy that we're talking about today. And so thank you so much for acknowledging your family. Right now, I want to bring up a colleague from Adrian Garcia's office. Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia's office. Thank you, Rich Garcia. To present a proclamation for the family.
My name is Frank Gonzalez, and I'm here on behalf of Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia, who, as you know, is in Washington right now working very hard for the people of the 29th District of Texas. And she wanted me to be here today because it was very important to her that I present this certificate of special congressional recognition for the hard work and commitment to service and their positive impact to our community, to the Fraga family. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. We are getting close to the moment we all came for, and so I want to take a brief second just to acknowledge Claudia Aguirre, who is our CEO of BakerRipley.
I know, there's not a mic I don't like, but thank you to everyone that is here. But if you give me 1 second, I really just want to address Mr. Felix Fraga. Felix, I am a direct recipient of your heart and of your work. And I will tell you that your work, your legacy, will always resonate within the walls of BakerRipley. We love you.
Thank you so much for that, Claudia. I appreciate you coming up. All right, so now we're really at the time that we all came for. I want to express my gratitude to all of you for being here today and for joining in this special moment. I am going to ask for those that are part of the ribbon cutting ceremony to make your way up to the front. And we will be having that ceremony. And then we'll have time to take a look at the timeline. Are we going that way? And as you've noticed up here on our left and right, or my left and right corners, we have QR codes. So as you know, to continue on the legacy of the Fraga family, we need donations. And we want you to invest and take this time to invest in our community. I think, you know, when I talked to Margie, I said this really is the best investment of our funds, our time, our treasure, and our talent. If in one generation I can go from a migrant farm working family to a university professor, your return on investment is low stakes.